Everybody's ready?
Matilda was brilliant. By the time she was 3, she had taught herself to read and naturally began hankering after books. Daddy, would you buy me a book? What do you want a flaming book for? To read, Daddy.
What's wrong with the telly? Willard is just about to propose to Angelica. Looks is more important than books.
From that day forward, Matilda would toddle down to the library. Over the next 6 months, she had read a formidable list.
I liked C.S. Lewis, and I'm very fond of Charles Dickens. He makes me laugh a lot.
Her fairly enormous brain was bubbling away like mad inside of her head. There was tremendous energy stored there, and somehow she was able to shoot that energy out through her eyes and make objects move.
A story about a child prodigy that can move things with her mind? No, this isn't an X-Men comic. This is Matilda, a cherished book from an award-winning children's author. Matilda is an extremely smart 5-year-old, gifted with the power to move things with her mind. But despite her many talents, she remains endearingly modest and kind-hearted. Her story reminds us that no matter what our gifts may be, we should use them to try and help others. Matilda, by Roald Dahl.
Matilda was 5 when she entered primary school. The headmistress, Miss Trunchbull, was a gigantic, holy terror. She had a thick bull neck, broad shoulders, and thick arms. Her face, I'm afraid, was neither a thing of beauty nor of joy.
I like to keep the children's backside so warm, you can fry eggs and bacon on them.
She had a locker closet in her private quarters called the Chokey. The Chokey's walls were made of bits of broken glass, so you couldn't lean against them. Ooh. But her teacher was a mild, quiet person, adored by every small child.
Hello, children. My name is Miss Honey. Now, do any of you know the 2 times table up to 12? Matilda.
Matilda stood and began to say the 2 times table. When she got to twice 12, she didn't stop.
Matilda, how far can you go?
For quite a long way, I think.
You mean you could tell me what 2 times 28 is?
56th.
What about something much harder, like 2 times 487?
974. Miss Honey had no doubt in her mind that she'd met a truly extraordinary genius. During the interval, she went straight to the headmistress's office.
What do you want, Miss Honey? There's a girl in my class named Matilda Wormwood. Haven't met the little brat yet, but her father says that she's a real wart. That can't be right. Matilda is a genius.
Miss Honey began to describe the amazing things Matilda had done with arithmetic.
So she's learned a few tables by heart, has she? That doesn't make her a genius. It makes her a parrot. But she can read. So can I. It is my opinion that Matilda should be placed immediately with the 11-year-olds. So you can't handle her, huh? You want to get rid of her. No, that's not my reason at all. Oh, yes it is. Matilda stays right where she is. Get out. Matilda, there is no point in you sitting in my class doing nothing while I teach the other children the 2 times table. So during each lesson, I will give you 1 textbook to study. How does that sound? Thank you, Miss Honey. I'm sure we'll get you placed with the 11-year-olds soon, but for the moment, the headmistress wants you to stay where you are. Very well. Thank you so much. It is the headmistress's custom to take over this class for one period each week. So today, Miss Trunchbull will be helping me with my lesson.
Good afternoon, children. What a bunch of nauseating little warts you all are. I can see I'm going to have to expel as many of you as possible. You, what is your name?
No, Nigel?
Nigel, your hands are filthy. What is your father? A sewage worker?
He's a doctor.
Ugh, you are disgusting. Go stand in the corner. And you, recite the times table backwards.
But I didn't learn it backwards.
Clearly, Miss Honey has taught you nothing. Go stand in the corner on one leg. I don't see why you children have to take so long to grow up. I think you do it on purpose. But surely you were a child once. You must have started out as a baby. How dare you suggest such a thing? 2 hours in the chokey for you.
At the end of the day, Matilda did not rush to get out of the classroom. When all the other children disappeared, she remained at her desk.
Do you live all alone, Miss Honey? Yes, in a cottage so small, it looks like a dollhouse. Are you poor, Miss Honey? Oh, I'm very sorry I asked you that question. It's none of my business. Why shouldn't you ask? When I was born, I lived in a lovely red brick house. But when I was 2, my mother died, and my father invited my aunt to come live with us. She was a holy terror, and I hated her right from the start. When I was 5, my father died, and my aunt became my guardian.
Do they know how he died?
Yes, the aunt did it and made it look as though he'd done it himself. She was a demon. When I got my teacher's job, she said that I owed her lots of money because she'd been buying my food and clothes. So she arranged for my salary to go directly to her own account. And somehow, she became the owner of the lovely red brick house.
This aunt, who is she?
Miss Trunchbull.
Oh, Miss Honey, I believe I have a bit of an idea. I must ask you 3 things. First, what did your father call Miss Trunchbull?
Agatha.
And what did Miss Trunchbull call your father?
Magnus, that's what she would have called him.
And what did they call you around the house?
Jenny.
Thank you, Miss Honey. Goodbye. And now for the practice. Matilda placed the cigar on the middle of the table and began to concentrate. Electricity flowed in her head, and her eyes became very hot. Move! To her surprise, the little cigar rolled away. Wow! Now for the difficult one. Up! She was able to hold the cigar in the air for 10 seconds. She kept practicing for an entire hour. I can do it! I can move the cigar any way I want with my eye powers. The next day was Thursday, the day the headmistress would take over the class. Good afternoon, maggots. Look at the chalk! It's moving on its own! It's writing something!
Agatha, this is Magnus.
No, it can't be!
Give Jenny back her house, her wages, then get out of here. I'm watching you. Agatha.
She fainted. The next day, Miss Trunchbull did not show up at school, and Miss Honey received a letter.
Dear Miss Honey, you are in fact the rightful owner of the Red House and your father's lifetime savings. You've done it, Matilda. Thank you.
Matilda leapt into Miss Honey's arms and hugged her. Soon, Miss Honey moved into the Red House, and Matilda was a welcome visitor there every evening after school.